It's high noon in Jamaica on Wednesday, the 12th of July. And this is the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. Wherever else you go on the media, come back across the bridge on Wednesdays at this time for a look at the affairs of this great nation, Jamaica, land we love. Broadcasting to the diaspora anywhere in the world. You can pick us up as we speak live, or you can pick us up in delayed format on the internet. It's all on the Bridge 99 FM. You can check us on any of their social media platforms, and you can download the Bridge app in the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. And just in case you need to know, the WhatsApp number for the Bridge 99 FM.13579 is 876-551-5782. Store that number. You'll use it. And the studio line is 876-676-4996. The Honorable Pearnel Charles, who hosts this program with me, and I prize the opportunity to talk to Jamaicans everywhere and anywhere in order that we may bring you up to date with what's happening in your land, the place of your love and care, and how we can share some of the most controversial and exacting views about life in Jamaica, and at the same time agree that progress, commonality of purpose, all of the good things come from the sharing of information and the respectful and sharp exchange of views. That's what we do. That's how we should talk always. That's what media is for. This is the Public Eye. We have open minds on the Bridge 99 FM. Coming up in today's program, as we join with our friends at Irie Jam Radio in New York, they're not going to talk back to us, but they are hearing us. Dr. Patricia Green, the noted Jamaican architect, is going to talk to us about her perceptions, her reasoned arguments about the way we're doing development, housing development in City Kingston and elsewhere in Jamaica. What are the principles? Are we following them? Are people getting permission to do what they want to do? We could tell you some instances. In fact, we will, when that comes up closer to 12:30 today. And later on in the program, we welcome Dwright Wright, the artistic director of the Campion College Dance Troupe. They are coming to the United States as official part of the Independence celebrations in less than a month's time. And they're going to be performing in Florida as well as in New York City. You need to know. You need to go. In the midst of all of our discussions, those are our main features. Please stay with us on the Public Eye. So, Mr. Charles.
Yes, sir.
Greetings again. And you pose some major philosophical issues in preparation for today's discussion.
Yes.
When I was coming here today, my progress was delayed and my life was imperiled by the behavior of certain people on the road, notably drivers of so-called public passenger vehicles, taximan, and motorcycle riders.
And minibus drivers.
Well, yes, who, despite the passage and the coming into force of a new Road Traffic Act, are doing exactly as they please on the roads. Their interests are paramount. They see their hustling, their need to get ahead, as being of a higher order than anybody else's interests and indeed anybody else's safety. Why? Is it just a money thing? Or is it that they have something in their head that feels that it's their time now and that they are entitled to do as they please? And if even it is that, is it only them? Or is that in fact the dominant philosophy, the dominant ethic that is becoming evident for the Jamaican people? Your time, Minister Charles.
Well, if Dr. Samaj is listening,
yes,
he would answer one of the points you ask. Is it a head business, or it is a family business, or is it illness?
Yeah.
Now, we cannot turn to somebody doing that and say, because they are ill, we want to, put them in problem.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a man who is like me and you. He's a bad man. He's not following no rule. You don't have no authority to tell him what to do. So him light him ganja, him put him head back, and him not following the rule and the lane.
Why?
Him taking the opposite lane because him hurrying. But him have 5 people in his taxi.
Sure.
And there's not one who said, let me out.
Yeah.
Not one who says, taxi.
Yeah.
Please. That's not the way to do.
Yeah. So why?
In fact, some of them are saying, go there.
Yeah.
Go round.
I want to reach.
Go. We want to reach where we go quick.
Okay. So tell me now, why wouldn't you and I do that, but he does it?
Because,
do it.
Because we have accepted that there is something called rule, law, something that is acceptable for the majority of us to do good. Mama would say, you know what the Lord say if you sin?
What?
What's going to happen to you?
You're going to hell.
What is hell?
Separation from him.
And what does that mean? You're the pastor. You answer the religious part.
What does it mean?
Yeah.
Well, for some people it means hellfire.
But it means, if it means separation
It means banishment.
from it,
Yeah.
you're gone.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to ask you.
Yes.
I'm really going to turn it on its head, because I have absolute impatience.
Yes.
For the situation that you have just described,
Yeah.
and I described.
Yes.
Yes? But respectfully, we are part of it.
Yeah, but could I add 2 more and just hold your point? If you go to the schools and you find a teacher like the lady I told you about who cried when one failed,
child didn't pass,
and she wants all her children to be so godly, so religious, so
successful,
wanting for education, for success, because she can see the future. And a parent come and say, me here say, you rough up my boy. You want him do this and do that. If you do that, I'm going to grab you up, you know. Now, probably she has a head problem. In other words, she is illiterate. She's not properly taught, or she hasn't learned. But some of them does bad. Now, I am asking you, sir, I'm not seeking to give power to the politician. I'm seeking that the authorities are either not exercising enough authority to the protection of the rest of us. I don't say power, because we describe it as power. So when the police stop you with your car, who decide you're not staying in the lane, you're going in the other lane, you're jeopardizing the life of the passengers, those who are coming and those who are in your car, and the police say, hold on, brethren, guess what? Pull over. You don't have no license for 6 months. This car cannot be on the road for 6 months either. Okay?
But let me stop you right there. I have no objection to any of that.
Yes.
First of all, here's the problem.
Yes.
When I say we are responsible for some of that disorder, because that's what it is, in both cases you mentioned,
Yes.
and I know you'll come with others. As far as the drivers are concerned, I have no patience with the Road Safety Council headed by the Prime Minister. A great deal of respect for Dr. Lucian Jones, if only for his effort, but I don't agree with him. Because what we are expecting is law to solve a problem which has to do with human behavior. No, let's go back. There is evidence from the time when the late Pat Stevens, God rest his soul, was Minister of State in Transport under an early JLP administration, which you were probably a part of.
No, I was a minister.
Very good, sir.
He was my minister.
Yes. There was evidence, yes, coming out of surveys and work done at the University of West Indies, Dr. Patricia Anderson, that indicated that about a third of the drivers in this country had never taken a proper driver's test. Yes,
right.
A great deal of the problem is that we do not train and test our drivers properly, not only for their driving skill, that they can park 6 inches from the curb, yes, but according to their attitude, because there are certain people who are so unsettled, or they are so befuddled by alcohol or drugs or something, that no matter how skillful they are, they should never have a driver's license. Furthermore, sir, when we take them to the traffic court, what do? The thousands who lined up for the ticket amnesty, remember the other time? Yes? What we do is charge them more money, so it becomes an extension of the tax office. Yes? Rather than insisting that your penalty is that you have to pay for a remedial course in driving. 6 months you suggest, that's fine. Yes, and for 6 months you don't have any license, and the only way you get back that license is if you retrain and properly certify to the satisfaction of experts that you are capable of doing this. Why don't we do that, Mr. Charles?
Because it don't help.
Why?
Tell why it don't help.
Why don't help?
Because I don't have to drive for 6 months, boss, with no license. I drive at night. I drive where else?
No. Then the police. No. You can't defeat it that way, because then you have law to deal with it.
Yeah.
But surely it would reduce it. Surely it would take away from the situation the antecedent, which is that people are going on the road. They are driving a public passenger vehicle, and you know another side of the problem too. Many times people drive with impunity and go on. So you know why? Because the police own the vehicle.
Yes, but that let us not use certain one
we
or
have
two.
to. It's a factor.
No.
It's not one or two.
You're not going to get away with a few. Going to be the majority of police are not like that.
No, I
the
agree.
majority of drivers are not like that.
But
I am saying we are not giving respect to the majority.
Yeah, but
we allow the minority to continue to do that.
But who's doing that? It's the very people who pass the laws, the very people who are engaged in this are in fact the ones who are allowing it to continue. The new traffic court, Mr. Charles, has had absolutely no effect on road safety in this country. It has been depended upon. We have been told, wait until we have the new penalties, wait until we have the new regulations. It is having no effect. Because why? People are not trained, and because we do not have a proper system of observance of the law, of prosecution under the law.
All right. So every time we get up with this, we have men like you, pastors like you.
No, it doesn't do with pastor. This is rationality.
I am rationalizing because I want to hold you with something. I want to hear you.
Yeah.
Are you going to say to me, because a few policemen will say, let go of money, you can go on. Or a few policemen
How many times have you
own the vehicle. But the majority.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm
saying that we must
not involved.
Let us deal with each case. Let us deal with the trends where we see them. But I do not think we're serious about observing road safety. And road safety comes with certain personal habits, and we are not inculcating those habits. My view is that every driver should take a psychological test. Yes? 2, if you are using some intoxicating substance, you come off the road. No matter how
are you going to get them off the road?
Listen to me. Don't you have laws against drunken driving?
So then let me ask you a question. Are you suggesting that we should give more authority to those who are authorized to keep the law going?
We do not need any more authority. If you read the law that you and I helped to pass, it is absolutely powerful enough. The problem is not the law. The problem is the observance and the implementation of the law.
I'm going to invite you for 20 minutes on Mullines Road between 4:30 and 6 o'clock one evening.
Yes.
The minibus, when it reaches Hagley Park, takes the right on Counts Road.
I know.
And go all the way nearly down to the boulevard.
Yeah, man.
And there's no policeman.
Why?
Hold on. The same way with the taxi and 1 or 2 private cars. Now, I am just ball out from ready to say, politician too. Hold on. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those who are disrupting and destroying the culture and the law
take
are set out by.
away their license if they do it repeatedly, because they're clearly unfit to save themselves, and more importantly, to save other people. I have no difficulty with that.
Let me take 10 seconds and give you another one, because I disagree with you. For those men who decide them want to do things, so them smoke them ganja and say they head bad, or they say them come from country where man can't do things, and so when them see a nice little 6-year-old girl going to school, them wait for that and say, boy, that look good. I can't take that. And then drag her in a bush, rape her.
God help us.
Done her life, mash her up, tear her up, as Mama would say. Right? And you're saying to me, first you must do is take that man to Dr. Simaj.
No, I'm not saying that at all. Don't. I am not saying that at all.
What should we do with a man like that?
Take him before the courts.
What should we do with him?
Take him before the courts and try him under existing law for his offense. And if he has done something as desperate and heinous as that, he must serve a long sentence.
Okay, you use a word that's so nice to me. Something that is heinous, which means that to tear up a little 4-year-old girl and throw her over the gully.
No.
For my mother, junk of eater.
Yeah. Oh, God.
No, you said to me, what must do a man like that?
Yeah. The only thing I will not do, because I did not give life, I will not take it.
But what I'm asking you, did you give health?
No.
So why you take it?
I'm not taking it either.
Why you
No. If you do an offense, if what you want is to have a discussion on capital punishment, we can. But my own view is that and it's a settled view that I am not God. I did not give life. I did not breathe life, and therefore I will not purposely take it away. That such a person has to be confined. Yes, I would go further, that person should be put to work to restore in whatever limited way it is possible, because he can never make back for the damage.
Okay, yes? Well, the first thing I was telling myself, man, I want to ask you then, would you say that we should examine how, by constitution or otherwise, we can give more authority to those who are authorized to help?
No, we don't need it.
I'm not talking politicians.
No, but you see, I have a worry about others. Judges,
yes.
According to law which is made by politicians, that is the system that we have. And
so you should give the judges.
The judges.
The judges.
Yes, of course. And don't fetter them at all. We trust them to deal fairly with every situation, those which are egregious and heinous, those which are not so, and we don't fetter them with mandatory sentences, which is what the government presently wants to do. And the previous government tried to do it too. Remember the Gun Court Act that I fought against? Yes, was indefinite detention. Yes, that's nonsense. That is wrong. But I am not against a person must pay for the crime that they have done, and if the crime is serious, they must be held. What I'm against when it comes to the punishment is where you put a person in prison and they sit down and idle for 24 hours a day, sleep and wake up. Yes, when in fact they ought to be put to work, to restore to whatever they can to those who they have aggrieved, to pay for their keep, and also because work is the best corrective, if corrective is possible, for that person.
Well, I had to find work when I was in there, which is exercise in the liquor room.
Yes.
Right? 1 year. No trial.
Yes.
No charge.
Wrong.
Just that.
Wrong. Injustice.
Here say you're a bad man.
Yeah.
You now come out.
Injustice.
Hold
wrong.
on. I hear that Mr. Chuck yesterday say that it was unfortunate for a man. And I went to Mr. Chuck with
Unfortunate for what?
A man who was sentenced.
Yeah.
Right? Now what about me now?
Equally wrong, more so.
So why your government and my government refuse to give me anything for the 1 year? I spent the longest in detention.
Yes.
I was picked up on the 6th and until the end.
You have
and
been
up
aggrieved.
to today they have not agreed to give me $1.
No, because they argue that under the state of emergency, that the regulations provide exemption from civil liability for acts carried out during this. That is wrong. And it is for that reason that the courts have now gone beyond that, and this very week, given somebody money for detention without any cause. Yes? And this is why I'm against the state of emergency being used as a normalized crime-fighting measure, because it allows people's rights to be completely abrogated, as were yours. As were yours.
Oh, my friend at Reddit said to ask you this. What would you suggest that they use if they're not to use the SOS?
What would I suggest?
Well, right now,
yes,
for the murdering taking place in Westmoreland, St. James, a man just come and see 6-man plane and shoot. No, indeed. Him setting gun and shoot all. What do you suggest we do to that? If we not to try and bring them in under state emergency?
I would adopt measures that were put forward by a person who has thoughtfulness on this matter. His name is Andrew Holness, yes, who has made sure that there is a program where any young person, which is because you have this dangerous age category. It's not exclusive or absolute, but it is there. Everybody comes in, and you must do a period of military service, yes, of re-socialization, and skills orientation. That is what you do. And if Ronald Thwaites says, "Boy, me a bad man," me not going to that. Yes.
So tell me then.
Wait me now. If that is the case, then Superintendent Pearnel Charles must say to me, "Look here, I'm going to watch you, because you are showing a bad intention. You are showing that you look like you are disposed towards a life of crime, and therefore you are the first suspect when anything happens."
And that man go on to chop up a Chinese man
you
for
can't.
His money.
No.
And take away his money. What you doctor? What you going to do with it?
Clearly, the law must apply for in circumstances like that.
So but
what you do not do is to presume that I am going to do that and therefore lock me up indefinitely, which is what your government wants to do.
Yes, okay, but then let's do it your way then. So you didn't lock him up and go on and him shoot a man, take away money. What you suggest we do to that nice guy now?
He's not a nice guy. He's not a nice guy. That is why you have the criminal law. That is why it works. It works reasonably well.
So my man in Reddit, Sam, to ask you, do you think that the law as they are now is sufficient to control crime?
Except in short instances where it becomes so intense that, like at Tivoli in 2010, where you have to have the extraordinary powers, but you cannot govern a society indefinitely or incessantly by that means. The Constitution never intended it. The Constitution was thoroughly and properly thought out. We are not using our existing laws and mechanisms. One of the main problems why we refer so often to the state of emergency is because the investigative powers of the police are very weak. And therefore, what you do is grab in everybody, and then you construct crime when you have them in custody. That is what they tried to do with you, Mr. Charles.
Well, let me ask you a question.
No, remember that, sir. Yeah, they took you in, and then they question you, and they give you conditions under which you could implicate yourself or be released if you condemn the next man. And you understand that it's the same mentality that is at work now. You least of all, Mr. Pearnel P. Charles.
So you win 1 point. You win 1 point because I'm being selfish because of your point, not me. And I know I wasn't guilty. But what about the man? What about the man who definitely is guilty? Yes. I still cannot get you to accept that there are some guys out there who. Your formula of education can't help them again because they're now 17.
So they go prison.
Between 17 and 35.
So they go prison.
For how long?
Leave it up to the judge. The law gives.
Also, if a judge gives you life, it's all right with you.
If the judge says he deserves life,
it's all right with you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Tell the gentleman from Red Hills.
If the judge,
but not the politician.
You know what him say?
Yes.
If the judge say you're wrong, and his life sentence is all right with him. Yes. But if the judge if a politician try to make you get a 2 weeks detention.
No. Politicians don't. Politicians cannot
police,
take away.
If the police detain you for...
No, police don't have the powers of assessing evidence and bringing judgment. Not in our system. This is not Hitler. This is not Mussolini. This is not Idi Amin. This is... this is the
last
guy.
I can't beat this man. I'll give you the last one. Let me tell you the truth. There are some of us, our brothers and sisters, who are washing out the blood out of the shirt and then come home.
You believe in original sin. That's a theological point.
I am saying to them, them can't be helped, Ronnie.
Oh?
Them are 20.
That's what Hitler said about the Jews. That's what King Leopold said about black people in the Congo. That is what Pol Pot said about the people who were not of his tribe in Cambodia. They can't be helped.
So you believe they can't be helped?
I believe that we must deal with wrong, not by escalating wrong. I follow Martin Luther King, who said you cannot murder.
You cannot murder a murderer.
No, you cannot murder. By increasing murder, you do not decrease the crime of murder.
All right. So the man said the last question I'm to ask you.
I gotta go.
If you go home this evening and see a man run out of your house.
Oh my Lord, what a thought.
And his wife bawling out.
Yeah.
And you know there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And you hold him.
Yeah.
And one of your daughter just raped.
Yeah.
You would invite him inside to pray?
Clearly not.
What would you do? Would you do like me if you have a thing in your hand?
No. If there was a threat against life, yes, mine or anybody else, and I had a weapon, I would be entitled to discharge it. And if it came...
No. Don't be no nice guy, no.
No, it's not. I'm not
what
being
you
nice.
mean, entitled to discharge it?
No, I'm using it.
The man just tear up your wife and
hello,
shoot your daughter.
I'm using the language of the law.
Oh, sorry, I'm not a lawyer.
Okay. No, but you jolly well know. but
you tell me what you say, me tell you what you say.
No, but that is it. That is clear. And beyond that, serious cases, extreme cases, do not make good law. And we are politicians. We are creatures of and agents of and promoters of law. Not of jungle justice.
We cannot find laws to cover extreme cases.
We do find law, and therefore there's a defense. There's a defense in law called self-defense. There's it, but you can't exact judgment.
So the man from Reddit just called to ask you: Would you then tell me that you would terminate a man's life? If you're in a situation, you'd kill him if you find him just kill your wife and running out.
No, I do not have the right to do that. I do not have the right. I have the right to preserve my own life and the life of somebody else who is whose life I see being taken or being put in grave danger.
So you come around to what I said earlier.
No, it's very different.
I'm asking you a question. I'm putting you on the line. And I say you come home.
And it's a false thing.
And you see the man running out of your house.
It's a false
and you know him just mash up your daughter and your wife.
I have a right to kill him? No.
No, what would you do to him? I'm
telling you, he has to be apprehended and brought before the court and sentenced to very serious.
So you would hold him quietly so you don't break him hand?
No. That you see, what you're doing is trying to caricature the law.
Listen, the question I'm asking because I'm the opposite. Because if I go home and hear Gloria ball at the house and Carol ball out, say the man just rape her and him coming out. God help me if I catch him.
Okay.
And I thank the Lord for helping me to catch him.
Oh, Lord, don't bring the Lord into this. Because
Then who is going to help me to catch him?
Well, I can't tell you who's going to help you to catch him, but I really don't think you can deify what you would do. This is a public eye.
You're not kind because you just call my mother and say, and my mother just call me.
Your mother would,
take back that.
Your mother would support that, support me very often.
Yeah, she supports you.
Very often she does. This is a public eye on the Bridge 99. When we come back, Dr. Patricia Green is a noted architect in Jamaica. She has strong comments about the way we are building out our residential and commercial facilities, what we're doing with our green spaces, what we're doing with building approvals. Listen up, soon come back. Coming up later on the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM, Dr. Patricia Green, the architect. But right now, Mr. Dwright Wright, the artistic director of the Campion College Dance Troupe, as we continue the global hour, linking with Irie Jam, New York, and the tri-state area of the United States. Hello, Mr. Wright, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. We broadcast to the United States and to Canada and to diaspora everywhere. The Honorable Pearnel Charles is the co-host. He's a Campion man too, you know. He sent his children there.
I didn't know this.
No, don't make Ronnie mislead you. My wife sent her children to Campion. My mother and father sent me to a little school called Limeshire Garden near Macedonia in the hills of St. Anne. We never no bus, no truck, train, no nothing, no dance troupe. No. Oh, yes.
Indeed.
We were dancing.
Well, of course you were, but we're interested today. Tell us the origin of and the scope and nature of the Campion College Dance Troupe, Dwright Wright.
Thank you so much. Well, Campion College, we started the dance. Well, when I started teaching at Campion in 2009, it was as an economics teacher. I went there. I had experience in the arts coming from St. Catherine High School. That's my alma mater.
Really? Good.
Yes. Saw that there was talent at Campion and decided to formalize the dance club that was there. And, it has just grown exponentially over the year. We entered the JCDC festival. We would have dominated the competition, goals after goals. We got tired of winning, as, former President Trump would say. And so we felt that we wanted to move in a different direction, move away from the JCDC, which has given our dancers a lot of exposure, but we wanted to bring a more professional texture to our presentation. And so we revamped the program to mimic what I call a semi-professional companies, where we do have, formal dance training, and we invite, stalwarts in the dance community. We were aligned closely and still aligned closely with the National Dance Theatre Company under the leadership of Marlon Sims. But we do get support from other reputable companies, the Company Dance Theatre, CDT. We have a lot of teachers who are from LACADCO, and just the general support. And that has really catapult us to becoming one of the leading high school dance group, who I will say, Reverend Thwaites, is very ambitious in terms of the programs that we have. I thank you for the opportunity for us to be able to share our 2023 tour of the United States, but it's not our first rodeo overseas. The group actually, we have been to Copenhagen, Denmark, in 2014. In 2017, we have been to New York. So we actually returning to New York and also in Boston. So the group is really comprised of student dancers. All of them have one thing in common. They're from Campion College, and they range from first form all the way to our alumni dancers. Some of them just completed their medical degrees, and we have gone on to become a feeder group for companies. So a lot of our past members are actually lead dancers in some of the more prominent companies in Jamaica. So Campion, known for its academic prowess. If you talk about dance now, you best believe that Campion will be a name that you'll hear ringing around.
What are the genres of dance that you, may I use the word, specialize in? And what does the exercise of engagement, training, performance do for these students? Is it just spectacle, or is it much deeper than that, Dwright, right?
It's much deeper, and you mentioned about the genre of dances. We specialize in modern contemporary training, but we do offer wide cross-section of genres, including Afrocentric folk forms. So the students have to learn about their heritage because we do dances like revival, we do kumina, we try to look at pucker here and there, but the root of the training is in modern contemporary, and we use ballet also to make the dancers look a little bit more refined. We do traditional dances, so we do dancehall, etc., to a less extent, because I personally, as artistic director, believe that it's all around them, and that's something that just comes natural to them. But the rigors of learning modern contemporary, learning the different dance technique, the progressions, it's very rigorous. Our dance program at Campion is an extracurricular activity. In fact, dance is not included in the formal curriculum at Campion. I have been, talking to Miss Baston, we have been trying to get, support from the ministry where we could get an additional teacher to offer the program there, because it is really a big thing at Campion. So the students would have to do it after school, and so they rehearse at least 2 times per week. A lot of parents who have kids who are interested in dancing will say, boy, to be honest, Mr. Wright, my daughter or my son, because we do have male dancers, want to be a part of it. But when I hear about the program, I know how rigorous it is, mimicking the academic program at Campion. So you find that the dancers have to find the balance. And I try to lead by example, because as a teacher there, and leading the dance group, I lead by example because I'm also an academic person. I'm no longer teaching at Campion. I actually work at Sagicor in pension investments. And while leading the group, recently completed my MBA in banking and finance. So I try to model myself to the students that you can enjoy the arts, but at the same time, the rigors of academics is also very, very important. And it teaches them good balance. Really teaches them good balance, how to balance, doing what you love and what you have to do, right? So, which is what is a sweet spot of life,
Pearnel?
I'd like to ask a question. Your dance troupe is dancing a different type of dance than the ordinary Jamaican would be rumbo, reggae, this, that. They're different type of dancing, right?
No. You should come. It's everything, all different types.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Have you seen the troupe?
Yes, I have.
So, in other words, it's not a new style, not a new type of dance. Christians can dance in that.
Christians, of course. Come on, Mr. Wright, you help me.
Because there's some dancing that my mother would not put up with.
And there's no salacious dancing. There's no bump and grind. There's no grind.
The closest we get to that is we do jazz, right? So we do jazz dancing where, they're in their nice little...
You don't have no reggae and all of those things.
Yes.
Yeah, man, we do have reggae. So we have, so on the tour, our production routes that's specially curated to bring every aspect of Jamaican dance to the diaspora when we travel. It includes everything, and it's a beautiful mix, as you mentioned, of Afro-Caribbean folk forms and all of what you mentioned. And while we may not be doing those style of dance that you mentioned, Honorable Child, in outright, they are infused in the different dances that we do. And Reverend Thwaites mentioned he was there on Sunday where we close our season of dance, and Reverend, I want to know that I was watching you while Coronation Market Jamboree was going on, and I saw how engaged you were. And I was really happy when you came to me after the show and said, Mr. Wright, I would want to give you an interview. So I know that the kids did justice. So maybe next time you can invite your co-host to be a part of it. So
indeed, did
you say you still run at Coronation Market?
No, it was a dance called Coronation Market.
Oh, that's a dance called Coronation.
No, the dance is called Coronation.
Dance it, Ronnie?
No, I didn't dance, but I was enjoying it, and I was animated.
And this is serious, because I recall that when I was small, drums and other instruments of passion were not necessarily in the church. And I've gone out to churches, people having drums and other things in the church, and singing and a kind of church dance too.
Why
It is
not?
different from the dancehall dance.
David danced before the Lord, you know.
Huh?
King David danced before the Lord.
Yeah, this Mr. Reddles, man. So tell us, sir. I'm interested that you're going to New York. That you have an audience that you show the Jamaican type of dance, which is different from the other type of dance.
I want you to tell us about this trip coming up, because we want to say to our audience listening to us that they must make every effort to come and patronize your season up there, because this is an exposure at Independence time when everybody's sentiments are running high, which is going to be a tremendous amount of inspiration and fun for them. Where and when are you going to be performing?
Yes, so the society will be headlining the celebration, one of the headliners in the celebration in South Florida and New York. I want to say that we're bringing our critically acclaimed production, Roots, and I guess for Jamaicans who are in Florida or in New York and any other state, and you are longing for a taste of Jamaicans, and also for Jamaicans who have American children who have never been to Jamaica, or want to experience a different version of Jamaica, we're inviting them to come and support this production, Roots. Now, Roots is endorsed by the Ministry of Culture, Gender and Entertainment and Sports as one of the official events of the country's 61 independence celebration. And so we are looking to bring something different to the diaspora. I know that there are many events that are planned, and we're just appealing to the Jamaican and Caribbean diaspora to take a break from what you traditionally used to do and where you used to go, and come and experience Roots. And I guarantee you that you will not only feel proud, but you will feel so satisfied and I guess uplifted by the messages being sent. Roots is really a dialogue about what is happening here in Jamaica in terms of our development, where we're going, and not only that, but some of the challenges. So you're going to come and experience dances like there's a dance called In Our Lane, which highlights the country's dominance in track and field, and that was choreographed by Renee McDonald, who is an alumnus of Campion. But we don't only highlight the achievement, but we also look at some of the social ills faced in our country. So there's a dance choreographed by myself. It's a narrative dance called Misogyny, and it looks at how women are being abused. I think the inspiration for that dance came in 2017 when we had that period where a lot of women were being attacked, and children. And I wanted to bring it on stage. And Mr. Charles, I know you mentioned about the type of dancing. My vision for Campion Dance is to be able to tell the Jamaican stories. And so a lot of the pieces that we do are narrative. So we train our students. They have to be very good actors because they have to be able to, dramatize these pieces. They have to be able to express these pieces so that the diaspora can get a real authentic sense as to what is happening in Jamaica. That yes, we have the glory and the achievement on the track and in our music and all of that, but there's still work to be done. And we are a work in progress, and just to reaffirm the promise of Jamaica being the place of choice to live, work, raise family, and do business, as mentioned by our Vision 2030 goal.
All right, we're talking to people who are going to want to come out to watch you. I can still see a Rex Nettleford dancing on stage.
Rex is clapping in heaven when the Campion people...
I'm asking you, does it have anything like that type of
yes.
dance?
Gracious. Mr. Wright, tell him.
Yeah. Yes, and I tell you, Mr. Charles, I started by saying that my inspiration in terms of leading the Campion Dance Society is drawn from Professor Rex Nettleford. So if you, and I know I'm going to invite you to some of our performance following this tour, and if you are able to travel to New York or South Florida during the Independence time to really see the group, that's where my inspiration is drawn. So when you look at the group, Carrie Ann Henry, who is the ballet mistress for NDTC, she was at the Seas of Dance on the Sunday, and one of the work I did was called The Widow's Cry. And you can just visualize the dance based on just the title of the dances, right? Widows Cry. And she came to me and she said, you know, Mr. Wright, I could see myself in that work.
Yes.
I watched the young miss who leads the work, and I, for some reason, you know, she embodies so much of who I am. So the diaspora can expect a high quality in terms of the professionalism of the group. I mean, you're going to be in awe. Your jaw will drop in awe as to whether these are actually high school kids based on just how intense the performances and how deep some of the concepts are. And if you miss Jamaica, you want to know what's happening in Jamaica, Roots is the place to be. We're bringing that to your doorsteps in the United States.
What are your
I'm going to give you a dance that you'll have to pay me and Ronnie for. Because you're not a country boy. I am a country boy, and I'm trying to bring Ronnie into the country style. Have you ever really seen the drummer and the fife and the banjo in country in a Christmas?
You're a little young for this, you know, Mr. Wright. But
yes, I'd have to go back in my history.
You ever hear a man a lick drum and blow fife and lick banjo, and you see the people in broad frock and how they do it?
Indeed, I've seen.
Well, many of our people abroad know that type. So carry on.
We have Kumina. Thanks for bringing up that, Sir Charles. We actually have Kumina on the show.
Okay.
So we have a Kumina number where, you know, we had to sit the kids down and we had to, you know, deliver lessons on Kumina, you know, where its origin, you know, the spiritual significance or the religious significance of a certain group. And so that will offer, you know, a very, you know, bring authentic Jamaica to the viewing audience. So we do have Kumina, and we do have other, you know, folk pieces, rhythms, you know. So I'm telling you, it's a wide roots. As I said, it's a representation of Jamaica land we love. I am just bursting with excitement, you know, and also disappointment to anyone who will, you know, let this opportunity pass to experience what our young people here in Jamaica are doing, because I know sometimes the news highlights some of the negativity about the youth, but I'm telling you, the youths are doing a lot. Right, and Campion College Dance Society is leading that charge. What
dates and what places and where are tickets available, Dwight, right?
Yes. So in terms of if you're planning on doing this the South Florida leg, because you know the tour we leave on Emancipation Day,
1st of August.
Yes, 1st of August, and our first performance is at the Parker in South Florida, downtown Fort Lauderdale. That show will be on August 5th and the 6th. And so tickets can be purchased at parkerplayhouse.com. So again, downtown Fort Lauderdale at the Parker Playhouse, and tickets are available at parkerplayhouse.com. And ticket starts as low as $25. So, I mean, we price it so that everybody can get the opportunity to watch. While in Fort Lauderdale, I must say that the group will engage in dance cultural exchange. So we partner with the Broward Performing Arts Center, where the Jamaican students will interact and mingle with the Americans and to pass on the culture. And I also want to recognize that when the Parker, the staff at Broward Center saw snippets of the production, they said that, no, we have to do more for this group. It is just too good for us not to, you know, give them a little bit more exposure. And so the group, the production is now a part of the Arts for Action Black Voices, which is one of those programs, you know, led by the Broward Center just to promote social equity and inclusion within the Fort Lauderdale area. When we leave from Fort Lauderdale on August 9th, we go to New York, where we'll be at the Lehman Center for the Performing Arts. That will be on August 12th and 13th. Again, the ticket starts as low as $30. I know New York is a little bit more expensive than anywhere else. So, but everybody can get a chance to, you know, watch the show at the Lehman Center, and that will be in the Bronx. So I know person might say, oh Lord, I'm all the way in Queens and I'm all the way in Brooklyn and I can't make my way to the Bronx. And I'm saying it is worth the travel and just to support Jamaica, because we are in America and we're wondering what can we do for our country. The remittances, they are helping, but here's an opportunity for you to bring even some of your American friends and stuff to support Jamaica in a very tangible way. And finally, I want to mention about our invitation by Goldman Sachs. So the Campion College Dance Society will actually be the featured performance for the staff at Goldman Sachs in Manhattan. And for those who know, Goldman Sachs is the world leading investment management company.
Yes.
And we will be going there to share Jamaican culture. So there's a lot that is happening and a lot that can happen, but I want to mention the finances. It has been a challenging year in terms of the financial support. I mean, we're coming out of the pandemic, we're on the brink of recession, and so a lot of firms are a little bit timid, and it has really derailed our budget. And even though I speak to you with such optimism, there is still a little bit of fear in my heart and, worry, about whether or not we'll be able to do all that we said we want to do. We're going with over 35 kids. The group is about 42, and we're still looking support. So we're appealing. We have gotten some support from, corporate Jamaica, and I want to thank the Chase Fund, for the immense contribution that they have made to us, the Jamaica Observer, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, Guardian Group, VM Group, Golden Cross, Mailpack, and Visit Lauderdale, which is like a Jamaica Tourist Board in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes.
They have come on board, but we still are in dire need of support. And so anybody from corporate Jamaica, past Campionites, and just Jamaican and members in the diaspora, just reach out to us in whatever way you can contribute to help to secure food and transportation for the kids. We really, really, really are in need of financial support.
Okay, help us out. Yes, I'm going to ask that question for you, Pearnel. First of all, for the New York performances, what's the contact for tickets?
So tickets, all tickets are being sold online because that's how the theater. That's how the theater operates. So all of the tickets are on Lehman Center. LehmanCenter.org. Yeah, LehmanCenter.org.
Okay.
LehmanCenter.org.
For Florida, it's ParkerPlayhouse.com. And for New York, it's LehmanCenter.org. And then what is the contact for those who might be minded to donate for your general purposes? How do they do that?
Okay, so they can we have an email address. So if you're international and you want to contribute, it's Roots JA 2023 Roots JA 2023 at gmail.com.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
Listen now, we link with the Caribbean radio station Irie Jam in New York, which has a wide coverage in the tri-state area, and we're saying to them, they're not able to respond to us today, but we're saying to them, pay close attention to this. Encourage all of your listeners to get in touch with LehmanCenter.org. It's a well-known playhouse in the Bronx. And make sure you come. And at rootsja2023 at gmail.com for your free will contributions to make all of this possible. It's a great independence gift.
And we also have, I want to mention, we have a GoFundMe account. So that's even better.
Yes.
So we have a GoFundMe account. So once you just go and type Campion College Roots, you should see the page come up. And you can it's just a click and just make a contribution, and that's it.
Campion College Roots. Got you.
How does one get into the band out here? You have to go to be a Campion man?
Yes.
Do you have have gone to Campion, or is going to Campion, or what?
To be a part of the band. It's a school troupe, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So at Campion, Campion has now become a dance powerhouse. So what we do, we have the Campion College Dance Society. To get into that dance society, you have to be a Campionite, meaning that you would have to pass for Campion, or you have attended or transferred into Campion, whichever way. You have to be a Campionite.
But you can stay in the band after you graduate from Campion.
Yes, man, because we have the alumni program that helps the transition.
I have a last question for you. What does the participation do for the students? What have you noticed through your years of participation? What of leadership? What does it do to them? Does it help them? Is it just fun, or does it have a strong constitutive effect as to who they become?
Yes, and thank you so much for that question, because it's a big part of the mandate and also a part of my leadership, whereby the space itself is so competitive because the students are so passionate, but there is no form of entitlement. And so once you get in the group, because of how competitive it is, you find that students have to work very hard if they want to get those solos, get those small groups and stuff. And so sometimes the expectations of the students are not met and they feel defeated. But what it does, because of the passion, it forces them to work harder. And so sometimes they might, because with my leadership, I can be very stern at times. But I have seen kids come back to me and say, boy, Mr. Wright, what happened in the dance society and how, the process was, is actually prepared me for the work world. The disappointments that I may have had, the successes that I may have had, it prepared me for the work world. When you talk about time management, right? And Mrs. Basson will tell you that when the CXC results come out, you always see these dancers at the top of the merit list.
Look at that. That's a key thing. Yes, it's an enriching prospect. Dwright Wright, thank you so much for this today. Artistic Director of the Campion College Dance Troupe. Good fortune in your trip to Florida and the United States. Carry the flag of Jamaica high and continue this wonderful work. Much obliged for this time today.
Thank you so much.
A pleasure.
Okay, and good luck.
This is the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. We'll soon come back. You hear? 10 minutes after 1 in Jamaica on the Bridge 99 FM. This is the Public Eye. Pearnel Charles and myself are here. Later on, Dr. Patricia Green, the architect, joins us. That was an interesting interview with Dwright Wright, the artistic director of the Campion College Dance Troupe. Make sure you patronize them. Can I give you those coordinates again? If you're in Florida, parkerplayhouse.com, and the performances there are the 5th and 6th of August. And if you're in New York, Lehman Center on the 12th and 13th of August, and the place for tickets is lehmancenter.org. And can you imagine? They're being chosen to go and serenade Goldman Sachs. That's a plus for Jamaica. That's great. Irie Jam people, listen up. Mr. Pearnel Charles, explain to me now. This is a trade union official I'm talking to. What is a permanent job, sir?
A permanent job?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You ever had one, Mr. Charles?
I could have made my job permanent, but when you start, nobody tells it's permanent. It depends on your performance. And you could start there and you could work until you're so old that you can't work anymore. You call it a permanent job.
No. So a permanent job is the length of time you work?
Can be, because the job that you have can be terminated at any point for several reasons.
Oh, like what?
Like theft, unable to perform, not just your behavior.
In your experience, permanent. Sure.
For permanency, it goes for salary.
Okay.
So, in other words, if you take me on and you say I'm temporary, you can say, I'm giving you $100 a month.
Right.
This is a permanent job in which I'm expected to stay as long as my contract says. I might have a 5-year contract.
No, a contract is different from permanent.
No, but the contract gives you permanency during the period of
during
contract.
That period, but
after that period,
the permanency that Dr. Horace Chang, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, offered to the civilian employees of the Jamaica Constabulary Force in the Parliament of the country yesterday is something different. Now, I have never had.
I didn't hear that. Since I didn't hear, tell me that
he has offered permanent employment to people like gardeners, office attendants, people who clean the cells. Secretaries civilians in the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
Hold right there. if I were a trade unionist operating,
Right.
and you were employed to that people, but you
Right.
can come Monday, you don't have to come Tuesday.
Yeah.
They might not take you Wednesday, take you Wednesday, Thursday. You are temporary.
Yes.
If you are required to come 5 days a week,
Yes.
4 weeks a month,
Yeah.
and you get a monthly salary,
Yeah.
and they say you have reached a standard where we will take you continuously on that base and permanent.
Oh.
Right?
Okay. I'm grateful for the understanding. My concern.
No, one other point. If you have me over a period of time, just come when you want me. When you call me, I say, come next week, 2 days. I'm temporary.
Yes.
But if you say to me, you are required to come 5 days a week, come at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, and you work till 12,
I'm
you
permanent.
come back at 1,
Yeah.
and you go at 4,
till 4.
and you say, I want you all the time, I'm a permanent.
So
job.
hear me now, sir. First of all, I've never had a permanent job. Yes?
That's because you have never worked with somebody who wanted you all the way.
Well, you see,
you're a professional who did have to buy your
I'm
service.
feeling very crestfallen. But no, these people are being given some measure of job security. The people that Dr. Chang spoke of,
Yes.
and others that Minister Clark spoke of, yes, they're being given a measure of job security, and I support that.
Yes.
What I don't support is when a person gets a permanent and can, whether they perform or they don't perform, they're still in that job.
No, but hold on now. You become a permanent worker because your performance is acceptable.
No, sir.
To your employee.
No.
No.
Wait a minute, sir.
You have some people who make you come and work in a bus.
Yeah.
You work from 7 o'clock until 12.
Security guard. Those are the security guards. Interestingly, the security guards who the court said last year were, in fact, not contract employees.
So they're permanent.
They're permanent.
Yeah.
You know they haven't got their pay yet.
Which pay they don't get?
They don't get the pay that they are
for
supposed to.
The new period or the retroactive?
Because both. What has happened is that they've been asked to sign contracts. Yes?
Yeah, but then if you are going to be a permanent worker, and I want
they
you...
postpone the permanent workers by saying, sign this contract, or if you don't sign this contract, I won't call you back.
What does the contract say?
That you don't have any recourse.
No. What does the contract say that they require them to sign?
This is it. The contract, in fact, keeps them in the position that they were, rather than in the position that they are entitled to according to the judgment of the court.
If you were around the table with me, and you are representing
I'm around
the company.
the table with you right now.
No, but you're representing the company.
Work.
You're representing the company, and I'm representing the worker. And I'm going to tell you that if my member comes to work at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock...
Not your member. You can't join a union.
Who you can't join a union?
Security guards can't join a union.
Nothing no go so.
But it is so right now.
Hold on.
And they tell you plain and straight that if you join the union...
laws of Jamaica,
yes, but you
from Bustamante and Norman Manley, go to Parliament. Nobody can stop you from joining a union.
Sir, of course I can. They simply stop you from work.
Who?
Simply stop you from work.
Ronnie.
You know that, man. Hi.
No. Because if you stop me from work, you have to stop the rest of workers.
No.
Because the rest of workers are going to sympathize with me.
Why do you think that despite the obvious advantage taking that has taken place for security guards over all of these years, yes, which we have winked at because it's some work and we didn't have any other work to give them, that they have never become unionized? Why is it?
Well, let me tell you. Because Vincent Morrison, myself, have spent thousands of dollars to carry those same security guards after work.
Yes.
Thousands of them to a meeting.
Why do you think they wouldn't join?
I tell you why they don't join. Yeah. They didn't have the guts to join like the other workers, like any worker, any factory.
Well, what are we Jamaican workers are without guts?
What they did was to carry news to the management that these 4 people that call themselves delegate are carried to Charles and Morrison, and while we sign up paper with them and come ask a big fee, and they fire them.
Yep.
it is the workers there who cause a lot of the problem. Where we
What a way Jamaican workers are acting against their own interests.
not Jamaica alone, Ronnie. The world over.
Yeah.
You have trade union workers. You have trade union
The whole
areas.
of the BPO industry.
Huh?
The whole of the BPO industry.
Yes.
Right now.
If they want to join you, nobody can stop them.
So
Nobody can stop you if you want to join a
So
union.
they're happy the way they are.
They
Come
are
on,
happy.
sir. Come on.
But Ronnie,
You have
the security guards were happy when Vincent Morris and myself.
You have an inbred exploitative situation.
Hold on. Let me tell you, they help exploit themselves.
Oh my Lord!
When I walk into a
Listen to
conference
Pearnel,
room, when I walk into a conference room and said, you ought not to be working without know how many hours you should be working, or what time you should be come, or what pay you're going to get, or when you reach what age you're going to be retired. They go and tell the management and then fire them. No, it takes the court to take that decision that these people are not contract workers.
And even when the court takes that decision, nothing happens.
That's
That is
where you come in as an attorney.
Yes.
To take them to court and say that they have disobeyed the order of the court.
But
right? And the union man like me now must say to the workers, we are not going to work unless you carry out the duty.
I wonder why none of that is happening. Because
they don't have me and you.
Okay. Who they have?
They have Vin alone and Vin out there and they won't come with him.
He's the only union man with any balls in Jamaica. Anyway, that's a Vin
No, I have to.
Well, we know that, but you're a retired union man.
Vin don't call me. I'm not retired.
Okay.
I can't retire. I'm always in the interest of the worker.
Okay. I have another question for you.
Let's not make any joke out of it. The management has some rights.
Yeah.
Because they took them on under a contract that is, according to the court, against the law. For them to change that to what the court is saying is law, the management has a right to either decide to take you or not take you.
And since you can't get a job anywhere else, what are you going to do?
Well, what they're doing now.
Brethren, let the court say what they want to see. If you want work, yes. If you want to continue work, you've been working here 16 years, 28 years, all that. Sign this contract that said this is what is going to happen. And there'll be no recourse for you. You won't take any action, etc. Sign right now. And if you don't sign, we'll go home now.
And that can only happen if the workers continue to be fingers.
The workers.
Hold on now. Fingers rather than fists.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
I know what that means. You've told me.
If they continue to work one
what
finger.
I'm saying is that it is amazing how we embed powerlessness among the majority of our people.
No. It's amazing how we have the power, but we refuse to use it.
Some people,
even when you get good leadership like what I had been offered them, they went and they take a drink from the management
how is it going
and
to
report the others and fire them
30
and them suffer today.
30 pieces of silver.
Yes, it may come from
anyway,
slavery.
I have another topic to you before we break.
You come for me today.
Yeah, ma'am. No, this one we will agree on.
All right.
These Haitians that come to Jamaica. Yes.
Oh, I'm glad you bring that up because
what is your position? What should happen?
Ronnie, as far as I am concerned,
yes, sir.
I would be, if I'm asked.
Yes.
I would make
right
a contribution from my
resources
pension to one or two of them.
Yes.
I believe that the government of Jamaica should treat them as they say they are
refugees,
yes. And they want to stay here until something is quiet in their country. Yeah. I would cry to hear that this government put them on a ship and send them back to Haiti.
Well, you and I agree fully.
If that happened, me and you
fully agree, sir.
Go to the president and say, PM, I am prepared to give them part of my salary, put them in a house,
no, but we're not so poor. We're not so poor that we can't manage.
I tell you better than that.
Yeah.
Tell you better than that.
And if you don't welcome the stranger, some of them people who's talking about, send them back. We can't manage. We have our own problems. Yes. Listen, them don't believe in judgment. They don't believe that one day we're going to have to say Matthew 25.
I will tell you something. I I'm publicly now saying
Yes, sir.
that I
Everything
am in a position
Yeah.
to call on my children,
Yeah.
who are many of them are doctors
Yes,
and
sir.
others,
Yeah.
to assist me to feed one
Yeah.
or two,
Yeah.
as long as I want to stay here
Yeah.
till there is a better atmosphere
until
in
they
their
set up-
country
until
that
they-
they can do.
yeah, and give-
I am prepared to make that contribution.
Well, listen to me. This is a strong statement that I really, really thank you for, and I join with you on this in every aspect. Jamaica cannot. We who seek to go to any other country, every other country, yes, and expect to be welcomed. We who contrive sometimes talk about that we are refugees, or
What
because
you're talking about contract. We who take plane to one of South American
True,
country
same thing.
and walk in a river
yes,
from
And
Mexico
yes,
to America
and
that will last a baby in a river.
Oh God.
Right? And when them
And
catch
when
us,
them- yes, we want to stay there.
And your government,
want to
and your police, and your thing, want to send these people back to the hell.
That Haiti is now.
That Haiti
Oh my
is.
God! And at the same time, you said last week that CARICOM must come together and band together to help Haiti. And
Well-
when Haiti come to your shores, that you're going to do. So listen, I expect the best from the government, and you and I are giving them strong support to be compassionate and humane towards these people. These are from a race of people who began the Odyssey of freedom in 1825 for against racism and colonialism in the West Indies. There are plenty of reasons why Haiti is where they are now. Yes, not least of the fact that they've been supporting the French people and making them prosperous from then until 1948. But whatever it is, if they come and they are needy to us, we must accept them and we must insist that they be treated humanely.
Which government, what soul could you have in you that you are going to know what is going on in Haiti?
Yeah.
And put these people in a clean plane
Yeah.
and land them back at the airport in
and say,
Haiti.
come off.
And tell them to come off and go find a place go.
No, sir.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, no, I am so happy, and thank you very much. I feel this is the kind of thing that we
I've
come
gone
together.
further than you, you know.
Yes, you have.
I said that I am prepared to give
Indeed.
part of what they are giving me
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
so that these children can have food.
Yes.
And if I can't find enough, tell me, put them, give me some, forgive them.
Sure.
Because I'm lucky, we lucky.
Lucky, we don't have that.
Okay.
And you have always pointed that out.
All right.
When we come back from the break, Dr. Patricia Green, the architect, talks about buildings and the appropriateness of planning for our development in Jamaica. Listen up. This is a Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. The Honorable Pearnel Childs and myself host this program until 2 o'clock, talking to the diaspora, talking to Jamaican lovers all over the world, and welcoming Dr. Patricia Green, veteran architect, historic preservationist, and commentator on development, in physical development in Jamaica. Dr. Patricia Green, welcome.
Thank you so much. What a great honor to be amongst such esteemed people like Colonel Charles and yourself, Reverend Ron.
Listen to me. Pearnel blushes easily, you know.
Pat, you're not to do that to me, you know. You're not to do that to me because you know I like you.
No, listen.
And you know that, Gloria listening.
You guys have too much energy. I can't keep up with you.
I'm so proud of you, though. You have a tough job ahead of you. Come on, Ronnie going to take you to the beginning.
Dr. Patricia Green, we've been reading your work in the press. We've been hearing you. We are seeing massive high-rise development all over Jamaica, particularly in the corporate area of Kingston and St. Andrew. We have a startling statement this morning in the press quoting Justice Minister Delroy Chuck, claiming that some of these developments are being financed by money laundering efforts. And we've heard from you that the physical planning, the requirements for safety, for aesthetic congruence simply are not there. Tell our listeners, many of them abroad, what you see happening and whether it's good for us or not.
And who is responsible for it, please?
Well, there you go.
Oh my goodness!
What an agenda!
Tall order.
Yeah.
Are we going to be here until tomorrow morning?
No, but
No,
you
can be one word, you know.
No, go ahead.
Can be
let her
one
do it.
word, but go ahead.
Thank you so much. And it's a very interesting question. In fact, this is why I do what I do. This is why I ask the questions in the media. And I'm so grateful to the Bridge for allowing me this opportunity here to continue the dialogue.
Sure.
In answer to your question, I'd like to propose 3 different components. One, and they're all P's. One, the first one I would call progress. The second P I will call process. And the third P I will call people. And I'm deliberately presenting them in this order. Now, many times we speak about development, and so people say you're unprogressive and you don't want to see progress in the nation, which is incorrect. I mean, it would be a betrayal to myself as a professional architect to say that I'm against development. I am very much for development, but what it is, I am against disorder. And this is what is happening. As a former head of the Caribbean School of Architecture, one of the key things that we instill in our students who desire to come into the profession of architecture is that there must be order. There's an order when you're putting up a development. It starts on the foundation, it goes up to the superstructure. In fact, I am here with a colleague architect, Evan Williams, and these are some of the things that we as professional architects talk about so often and are carrying concern that development is taking place and it lacks the order. So we are very much in favor of progress. We love what is happening in Jamaica, but what is happening is that it lacks a certain amount of order. And now in this context, we have heard where they're saying that there was a provisional development order and it is now been confirmed. And the minister has recently confirmed it on the 16th of March, it was announced. And on the 5th of April, the order was formulated and gazetted. So 2023. So now Kingston and St. Andrew Pedro Keys has a confirmed development order. And so when we are working with progress, we need to work in order, but it is disorderly for any government, for any minister to confirm an order without the due process. The due process is that it needs consultation with the people. How can you go into a neighborhood and change what traditionally was 30 habitable rooms per acre? I'm using acres. We all understand that as opposed to hectares. And you're going to change it from 30 habitable rooms to 150 habitable rooms. Initially, under the provisional order, it said 30 habitable rooms, 2 stories. With the new confirmed order, it is 30 habitable rooms, minimum 3 stories. Then what used to be 50 under the provisional of 2017 has now been changed to, instead of with 50 habitable rooms, it can be done in some neighborhoods on quarter acre and less. Do you know what a quarter acre lot looks like? And then the building can go up 5 stories. Now, that process is mind-boggling in any civilized environment. You're now going to be placing in a number of neighborhoods across Jamaica a process that allows any developer, it don't matter where he gets his money from, that's between him and MOCA, how to put up that building. That building is now going to be sitting next to where you live at 5 stories. This is the process that needed consultation with the neighborhoods and the people. And this is where I go to my third P, the people. The people have been totally left out of this discussion. The people have been ignorant, have been bypassed, and they should have been informed before the order was confirmed. Where are the people? Where are the voices? And this is where I commend and I congratulate the Bridge, and I congratulate you, Reverend Thwaites and Pearnel Charles. Everybody calls you Pearnel, but I'm going to call you Pearnel Senior because I've met your son and he's such a wonderful person.
Oh Lord, oh Lord. You met my wife. You met my wife.
housing. So we did meet in that context, you know.
Yes.
I'm asking who is dealing with housing in Jamaica, affordable housing, with all of this development, with all of this high rise going around. We hear nothing about affordable housing. So I will just summarize again. Progress. Excellent. We need it and we are supposed to have it and we are to progress as a nation. Process. What is the process and why have we left out the people in all of this? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for that. Yes, of course, sir.
Can I jump at her?
Yes.
No, don't.
Mrs. Green, let me say this to you. I confronted an authority that I consider bigger than me. I said, look here. You have a 5 or 6 story house with 5 rooms on each floor. So it's 22 bedroom apartment in a little spot and less than half an acre. He said to me, listen, that's 24 families. Where would you find 24 spots in Kingston to build 24 homes? Okay, all right. I will agree with you that we have to go up. But there's a thing called process, and there's a thing called who is going to program it,
which is the
and who is
people.
going to authorize it, and most of all, safety.
Well, you are echoing what Dr. Green is saying, but Dr. Patricia, use Pearnel's instance. Are there other problems? I mean, how are we going to get water for all these high-rise places? And are we ignoring the inner city and the renewal of the inner city, which could accommodate many more people, and insistent that we have these behemoths constructed anywhere else?
But you leave out a major part, Ronnie.
What?
There's, when you flush,
Yeah.
where from those 7 and 6 high-rise buildings, and there is nothing down here. Somebody told me they have ponds to collect.
Well, let's find out what if the infrastructure can manage what is taking place. What say you, Dr. Patricia?
Well, this is the issue, and this is the concern. That it's a great concern for me, the process. If you're going to increase the density, then alongside with that, you should have some planning to say that this is where the major sewer lines will be.
Right.
This is how you're dealing with the sewers. You're putting up a 5-story building on less than a quarter acre of land and giving it a density of, in some cases, 100 habitable rooms or 175, because this is what is now in the new the confirmed development order. They've increased it from 50 and 100 to 150, and so it is ridiculous. And at the same time, we have not yet seen the plans from the National Water Commission and others responsible to say these are the central sewer lines that are currently in existence. And so we have all these apartments going up, as you've said, Minister Charles, that, well, I call him Minister Charles and Minister Thwaites, so forgive me. But as you say, you do something like a simple flush. Where is it going? It is going in next door's backyard because it has been shown by the courts. There are some citizens who have taken some developments to courts, and when the court go in, they find that there is inadequate sewerage provision. Some of them are offloading it in the gully. There are some apartments where the people cannot sleep at nights because the sewerage system from some apartments are going in the gullies, and the people who are living next door are suffering. And we're looking forward to a pandemic if it is not resolved.
Mrs. Green, let me say this to you. I drove along Marcus Garvey Drive, heading out to Norman Manley, driving through your former constituency. Ronnie, I could not keep my windows half-inch down. I said to the driver, how do people live here? You know what is happening? The sewer is coming through the Sandy Gully. Heading where? Down where the people live, to rats and cockroaches and their health. And so you've been saying Mrs. Green, you've been saying they. They who have authorized this?
Well, this is the process. There is the KSAMC in the case of Kingston, or the municipal corporation if it is in St. Catherine or whichever area. The KSAMC, and there are regulations that need to be followed. So the question is, are they following these regulations? The NEPA, which is a National Environmental Planning Agency, they have regulations that exist. The Town and Country Planning Act, which is from the 1950s. We can say it's archaic, it is pre-independence, but there are guidelines in that should be followed. And in following these guidelines, there should be a central system for the sewerage and a central system for, some planning to say we're going to be if you're going to be increasing the density in a neighborhood, you need play areas for the people. You're going to be increasing people living in there. They have no outdoor spaces. So you have gardens and you have parks. So you lay out the city and the plans in such a way that you have the buildings and then you have open space where an earthquake area, if heaven forbid there's an earthquake, people need a place of refuge to run to. The increase in traffic, so you have to redesign the streets. Do you have a central transportation system for the publics instead of filling the place with lots of motor vehicles and vehicular taxis? If we offload the sewerage in Cherry Gardens or Jacks Hill, heaven forbid, where is it going to end up? In central Kingston, and that's why you have to drive in central Kingston with your windows up. And citizens live in central Kingston. Yes. Central Kingston has now been rezoned to have a density of 1 in 10. 1 in 10, which means you're going 20 stories in the waterfront. Where is the central sewage system, and where are the people in central Kingston going to live? How are you designing and relocating the city, which it's inclusive of housing and residences for teachers, nurses, policemen, soldiers, doctors, and persons who have to be given what is called social housing. This new confirmed development order ignores those principles of inclusive infrastructure planning. It ignores the people, it ignores the neighborhoods, and it is an infringement on the human rights of the Jamaican people.
There's one social problem, Dr. Green.
I'm listening.
The people who are occupying these apartments are the same people you're talking about, the doctors, the lawyers, the this and the that. These are the people buying these hell apartments, right? And these are the people flushing it down to me in my little something downstairs. So they're not the one that I'm worried about, because they know if they weren't buying, it could not be building.
Well, first of all, Dr. Green, that development order, which has been confirmed, is obviously the product of governmental decision. That it has to be. Unless cabinet approves of it, it would not be confirmed. And therefore the responsibility is quite clearly attributable to the municipal corporations, whether the KSAMC or any other parish. I have the strong impression have been very, very slack in terms of the building approvals. I wish to give a particular example for your comment. I grew up in Eastern St. Andrew, and Jacks Hill, the whole area there is not strange to me. The ground up there is shaly. I have been told from I was a child that it was that whole Jacks Hill face was part of was along an earthquake fault. And ma'am, we are putting up some class and heaviness of weight of buildings there. The thing is going to tumble down, Dr. Green. And when there are complaints, apparently there has been no building approval, but the building is going on. How that go?
Well, this is why I talk about progress. Yes, the government and everyone is for progress. All Jamaicans are for progress. I can safely say that. But the process is the issue. That if you're doing things, there's a process that if your building is illegal, then you issue a stop order. If they don't obey the stop order, then you demolish. The whole demolition act, the entire stop order is not being enforced. And it's causing citizens to have to find hard-earned funds to carry various people to courts. And I have heard the mayor has said to the citizens which gathered last year, April 27, at the KSAMC to ask a number of questions. Will you demolish some of these buildings that are going up? The mayor said only if the court tells him, which means that citizens have to find money to take the KSAMC to court and let the court tell them to demolish. It is their responsibility. That's part of the process. It is the process is that NEPO and KSAMC should be carrying out their jobs and their functions as the due requirement of being an institute and an authority in the nation. And that is a big gap in the process.
There's another aspect to it that I want you both to attend to, please. It has to do with the financial institutions. All of these developments, however the capital comes, Mr. Chuck may know, from whatever source, to build them, all of them as unsold to people who largely finance them through banks, building societies, finance houses. These people must share some responsibility for the outcomes, the final outcomes, and where the buildings are put up in situations where they are going to be a nuisance to everybody else, or they're going to be non-functional because of their density, or where they are placed on shaly ground. We're looking at financial collapse, ma'am. We're looking at irresponsibility at that level. Am I being too extreme?
I think there's enough record in the newspaper and on the radio stations and television to show that I don't think you're being extreme. What I would like to use this opportunity on the bridge with both of you esteemed gentlemen to make a plea that the financial institutions should become active in the development before the end product.
Yes.
In other words,
good.
What is happening is that the buildings are finished and then people go to them and say, please finance my building. I'm buying an apartment. But what we are learning from the Citizens Association is that they have some buildings in their neighborhoods which they have objected to year after year. Some cannot afford to go to court, some go to court. The buildings are finished. And what they were told, the neighborhoods and the Citizens Association, this was supposed to be a 2-bedroom apartment. What they're seeing being advertised for sale is a 3-bedroom apartment.
Sure.
So the financial institution goes in, sends a surveyor. The surveyor does a survey over a 3-bedroom apartment and issues a mortgage for the 3-bedroom. But if the financial institutions were monitoring and following the situation in the neighborhood and spoke with the neighbors, they will understand that it was originally submitted as a 1-bedroom, a 1 habitable room, yes, which is almost like a studio.
Yeah.
I'm just making a hypothetical case here.
You very real hypothesis. We know it.
Yeah, but I know of situation where the technical part of that situation, the architects can put a 1-bedroom so beautiful on paper to present to the authorities. And when they approve it, they show you that you just put up this wall and you have 2 bedrooms.
But then that's chicanery.
Yeah. No, but Ronnie.
But what?
Look,
that is precisely contributing to the situation.
What you're saying about the institutions, the financial institutions.
Yeah. They're going to get a blow.
As far as they are concerned.
Some of that development on Jackson is going to tumble down.
And they will tell you that they insure it when it tumbles down.
Oh, and insurance is prepared to cover that kind of predictable risk
of course,
when there's a hurricane or when there's, God forbid, an earthquake.
As the builders do.
Well, we can't end up in a situation where we can do nothing. Dr. Green, what is the remedy?
I heard you before when you're ending the previous thing. You were encouraging Minister Charles to pray. I say that in prayer.
Yes, well, that's always good.
But I think the remedy is that the agencies, the public agencies, should become accountable for the process. There needs to be accountability in the nation of Jamaica, and apparently there is not accountability. When somebody can build a building on a gully wall and offload the sewage into the gully, and then everybody knows, the neighborhood has been complaining, the National Works Agency knows about it because the gullies are maintained by them, and in the process, no one takes any action. The issue is that somebody has to become accountable. And I hear you mention architects. There are many times people call people architects, but the architectural profession, and we're professional registered architects, we recognize that there are some of these developments that are being done by persons calling themselves architects who are not registered architects.
Oh, no.
So we also have to be very clear, no registered engineers, no registered quantity surveyors, no registered land surveyors. So we need to be clear. The process needs to recognize, do we have professionals working? Do we have the authorities monitoring? And so when I talk about the progress, yes, we are for progress, but the process, which is the stage in between the people, we need to make sure that the governmental agencies responsible for development are protecting the Jamaican people by ensuring that the process is done in order and with proper due diligence. That's where the gap is.
What should happen?
There's a social and political order that one has to find. Because, Ronnie, when all of that come down from up the hills,
yes, sir,
in the sandy gully, and the dirt and the bush and the stone block it up.
Yeah.
And the roaches and the rats and the this and the that.
But you see, we're not concerned with those aesthetic issues.
And those people who are there, so I asked the guy yesterday, how they live? He said, boy, then get used to it.
Well, this is the whole point.
What kind of thing that? How can you get used to that sort of
you shouldn't have to. Dr. Green, what about the development order? What should happen with that? Does it need to be recalled and redone?
Well, it's a very good question, Reverend Thwaites, and it's a question that I am asking myself. But nothing will happen if the citizens don't speak.
And saying that people must go to court in order for the administrators to be made to do their duty. A Supreme Court matter will run you over $5 million and probably take you as many years. Now
Exactly.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to be an effective remedy. That's a pass off. My strong feeling, without all of the information that you have, is that development order ought to be recalled, and that it is ultra vires, if only because it is not the product of the adequate consultation which is appropriate for such things. Would you agree?
Is it the development order a national one?
Yes.
Because what is happening in Kingston is happening in St. Catherine and in other parishes.
There are different development orders, but the same problem, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What say you, Dr. Patricia?
Well, I am concerned about the process that this development order was confirmed and the densities changed. When any change to the provisional order of 27 should have had a proper consultation process. The citizens of this nation should have been consulted and should have been informed that their neighborhoods were going to be increased almost threefold. The building next door, your building that you live in, your site, your land, has now been increased from 30 habitable room to 150 habitable room, and it can accommodate a 5-story building. You should have been told this.
Sure.
It is courtesy. And so that should have happened before the confirmation process. The order has now been confirmed. The citizens and every neighborhood need to begin to ask the questions. What is happening in my neighborhood? Because many of them are totally unaware of the repercussions.
But Dr. Green, I'm living in an area and you're talking to me. I have selected leaders to represent me.
And they're falling down on their job.
Right.
Your councillor is not doing his job, and your MP is not doing his job either.
Well,
There is a feeling. Come now, stop. We have to stop skin up. The feeling is, boy, see people who work. This is where money can be used. You can make a big profit from the development, and therefore, don't tell me about restrictive covenant.
There's more to it.
And building approval.
Because a man said to me,
yeah.
where are people going to live if they don't build these type of homes?
There are many other places for people to live.
So you tell me about out there.
Yeah.
You can't build out there because it's agricultural land.
No. That is not the option. I'm certain Dr. Green can tell us that the proper city urban planning, proper zoning can make a big difference than what the chaka thing that what we're having now. Am I right, ma'am?
Well, I'm sorry. Edward Siaga is gone, but he always say there must be place for flowers, for gardening, for this. None of that.
Well, that's another aspect of it. Dr. Patricia, are we making proper provision for recreational areas?
Well, it's missing from the confirmed development order.
Hear me now.
It's absent. What is absent? Play fields. If you're going to increase a density from 30 habitable rooms to 175, where are the children going to play? Where is the football field for that community and that neighborhood?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you understand what we're talking about. We're talking about Havendale and Meadowbrook and Mona Heights and even Mulline's Garden. Mulline's Garden, all of a sudden they wake up and discover that where they're living is suddenly commercial. People can come in and start building trucks next door to their house. I mean, did you tell the residents of Mulline's Garden? Did you zone off a special area in Mulline's Garden and say this will remain residents of 30 habitable rooms? Why should people have to go and live in Miami and Canada when they have a house right there with a garden, but they have to move because a man is coming working 24 hours with a welding torch next door,
Sure.
and increasing the noise in their neighborhood.
And two garages.
Thank you. Yeah. So we're parking the cars in front on their lawn, their sidewalks that they maintain.
Yeah.
So we're talking about progress. Yes, progress is important, but the process is inadequate, and the process does not have any respect for the people.
You leave out a big part.
Mr. Charles.
If you have 40 people living where 2 used to live, and 25 of them have 25 cars, we're going to park them.
Well, that she referred to that, and it's even more acute. Dr. Patricia Green, you've stated clearly what our conundrum is and how we should approach it. There's much more on this to come. We value your wisdom, and we'll refer again to it. Thanks so much for today.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Patricia Green, noted architect.
Work on the progress path, we'll follow you.
And public commentator
process,
on matters to do with physical planning. Bringing the public eye on the Bridge 99 to a close, encouraging all listeners abroad to be very careful where you invest for your Jamaican home or your investment property here. Make sure that it doesn't fall into the concerns and problems that we have discussed here.
Dr. Patricia said something,
about
those who are lending the money to do the building.
Yes, they should be.
And they do so because they are making money out of it.
Yes, but they don't. Where they're going to live? Miami. Thanks very much for your company, the Honourable Pearnel Charles on the Bridge on the Public Eye. Check you next week, Live Spare, and God willing, we'll be here.